my friends and movie maniacs. It is that time. It is I, Mark the Movie Man. Welcome to the Final Cut. So glad you could join us today as we look at an independent sci-fi thriller from across the pond. Yes, it's from the UK. It's called Alien Outbreak. Writer and director Neil Rowe gives us the story of Sergeant Zoe Norris and her partner Patrick, who start their day off normally, taking care of the residents and handling these small problems that this rural town has. But soon there is starting to be a massive outbreak of people committing suicide, which is unusual for their quaint little town. Well, soon aliens arrive, and Sergeant Zoe is finding herself trying to figure out why her fellow residents are trying to kill themselves. Are they linked to the aliens, and why are the aliens here, all trying to survive this alien outbreak? Neil Rowe gives us a very interesting story. It's a dark story, and it had kind of the spirit of a film that came out in 2003 from Australia called Undead, and it kind of had that spirit where you have the rural town, location that is suffering from what appears to be a massive outbreak of some sort. And I liked that. I liked that it had that spirit, but this is far less campy than Undead was, for sure. This one is far more serious, especially when you're dealing with the subject of suicide. And I loved how this film opened. This film really grabbed me when it opened, following the Zoe Norris character, and we're getting a bit of flashbacks of scenes from her. We know there's something in her past that's bugging her, but also the suicides that she ends up either witnessing or seeing the aftermath are pretty brutal and gruesome, but not over the top gruesome and brutal. And I enjoyed that. Usually when, especially with independent productions, you do get a chance, where they kind of go over the top with some of the gore in that, but here they work within it, make it a bit more realistic, which makes the suicides all that more disturbing. Now, Sergeant Zoe Norris is played by Catherine Drake, and I really enjoyed her performance in here. It's a solid performance of this sergeant who's just trying to figure out what's going on, and figuring these things out as these aliens move across the countryside, which I love the design of the aliens. The special effects in here may surprise you for the type of film and budget that this film is made on. I really dug the special effects in here. The design of the aliens, they didn't get too overcomplicated, but still very creepy and scary and make your skin crawl. And then some other characters, different types of alien characters show up later on that are even more ominous and creepy. And yeah, I enjoyed how this kept the dark tone. It maintains it throughout, but never gets too campy where you could see them easily going that direction. Now, Richie Crane plays Patrick, and I enjoyed his performance in here as well. The only thing I had with the dynamic, especially with the Zoe Norris character, and I kind of understand what they were going for with it, is they were trying to give her kind of an arc as the film went along, but there were just a number of moments with her character that I was like, I would have liked to see her just a little bit stronger than continuously calling for her partner. Though, she's concerned about her partner. There's just maybe a little bit too much of that. I'm not sure. There wasn't something that just quite right with that character that made me feel that it wasn't as strong as she could be. Though by the third act, she definitely is showing her strength and her leadership and makes a bold decision, which, I kind of suspect where the resolution of this film, where it ended, I kind of expected it was going there, but I was glad it did, because it helps show the paranoia and kind of parallels the paranoia that we have in society today on things. How perception and reality are two different things, and how that perception can really cause problems for you and fear where you don't necessarily need it if you put some trust in your gut and actually just pay attention to the details. So, you've got a lot of that going on in here as well. But overall, I think the film does its job. It brings some interesting visuals. It keeps that sci-fi feel, and it keeps that dark tone throughout with a resolution that was welcome for sure. I'm also going to throw in there the pacing of the film. It does get a little bumpy at times. I would have liked it to see maybe a little bit more bam, 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 but they still maintain that creepiness with these aliens, so that feeling is there and that atmosphere is there. It's just as far as the action and the pacing goes, I would have liked to see that stay a little more consistent. So there you have it, folks. A little bit of a mixed bag with Alien Outbreak, but I still think it's a fun watch for sci-fi films, especially if you like Neil Rowe's other feature film that he came out with, Robot World. So check it out. If you have checked it out, please leave your comments down below. Love to hear your thoughts on this sci-fi thriller. And yeah, subscribe if you haven't already, and check out our Patreon. We got a lot of great stuff going on there, too, for very reasonable prices. I thank you for your support, and until next time, remember, keep that ticket stub.